Good morning, students. This is session 2 of 8th Standard Social Science, History, 6th Unit, Development of Industries in India. So, children, listen carefully to this session. In case of any doubts, make a note of it. We shall be clarified on the day of reopening. So, now let's enter into today's topic. So, before seeing today's topic, in previous video, we have seen that the history of Indian industry perhaps dates back to the history of humankind, and the major occupation was agriculture and handicrafts. And also, we have seen some traditional crafts of India, so like the weaving, the pottery works, the clay works. And also, we have seen that mummies in Egyptian tombs dating from 2000 BC were found wrapped in Indian muslins. Muslin is a cloth, a thin cloth of finest quality. A 50 meter of this thin fabric could be squeezed into a matchbox. And also, we have seen about the decline of Indian industries and the major reasons behind it. So, first one is the loss of royal patronage. Second one is transition from producer to exporter of raw materials. And third one is competition of machine-made goods. And then fourth one, trading policy of the British. And fifth one, deindustrialization. And also we have seen about the great old man of India, that is Dadabhai Naoroji, was the first to acknowledge that the poverty of the Indian people was due to the British exploitation of India's resources and the drain of India's wealth to Britain. So this theory is also called the drain theory. In today's class, we are going to see about the beginning of modern industries. So, the process of industrialization started in India from the mid-19th century. So, the modern industry started in India in the mid of 19th century. However, the beginning of the modern industry is associated with the development of plantation. So, the beginning of the modern industry was based on the agriculture. So, many plantations like jute. So, the jute plantation and then cotton and also iron and steel were mined. So, there was a limited development of mining, especially coal. So, during the start or the mid of 19th century, it was fully a plantation industries where jute, cotton and also some steel was mined, and the mining process was limited, especially for coal. So, there was a limited development of mining, especially for the coal. And also, with the development of railways and roadways, it accelerated the industrialization. So, the development of railways and roadways, it promoted in the development of industries, and the growth greatly influenced the economic and social life of the people in the country. So, the roadways and railways, it improved the economic status through the industries. And also, the two world wars gave an impetus to the development of number of industries. So, the two world war, it gave a start for the development of numerous industries, that is World War I and World War II. So, the two world war, it caused the increased rate of the number of industries such as the chemical industry and also the iron and steel industry and the sugar factory or the sugar industry and the cement industry as well as the glass and other consumer goods. Also, most of the mills were set up by wealthy Indian businessmen. So, most of the mills or industries were started by a rich Indian businessman, and initially this development was confined to the setting up of cotton and jute textile mills. So initially they started cotton or jute textile mill. So let's see some modern industry. First one is plantation industries. So industries based on the cultivation of crops. So let's see it. The plantation industry was the first to attract the Europeans. So the plantation industry was the first to attract the Europeans. So the Europeans mainly entered into India for trading purpose, especially for spice trading. So it also comes under plantation industry. So these kinds of plantation industry, it provides jobs on a large scale. That means it provides a large job opportunity or employment opportunity. And in reality, it could meet the increasing demand. So there was an increasing demand for tea, coffee and indigo. So indigo is a type of dyeing material for fabrics by the British Society. So during the British rule, there was an increased demand for tea, coffee and indigo. Therefore, the plantation industry was started early on, and also the Assam Tea Company was founded in 1839. So the Assam Tea Company was founded in 1839. And the coffee plantation also started simultaneously, as the tea plantation was the most important industry of the eastern India. Coffee plantation became the center of activities in the southern India. And the third important cultivation is the jute cultivation. So first one is tea, second one is coffee, and the third important cultivation during the mid 19th century is the jute cultivation. So all these industries were controlled by many former employees of the British East India Company. So all the tea company, coffee, jute industry was controlled by the employees of British East India Company. And next type of industry is machine based industry. So totally depend upon the machine. So in India, modern industrial sector is an organized form started with the establishment of cotton textile industry in Bombay in 1854. So the first cotton textile industry was started in Bombay in the year 1854, and then in 1855 a jute industry was started in the Hooghly Valley at Rishra near Calcutta. So in 1855, jute industry was started in the Hooghly Valley at Rishra near Calcutta, and the first paper mill was started at Ballygunge near Calcutta in 1870. So first paper mill was started in Ballygunge near Calcutta in 1870. So all these industries were dependent upon the machines. That's why it is called machine based industry. And also the cotton mills were dominated by Indian enterprises. So cotton mill was dominated by Indians, whereas the jute mills were dominated by the British capitalists. Cotton mill was dominated by Indians, whereas jute mills were dominated by the British. And also cotton mills were opened in Bombay and Ahmedabad, and jute mills proliferated on the Hooghly River banks. The woolen and leather factories became prominent in Kanpur. So cotton mills were established in Bombay and Ahmedabad. Jute mills was established on the Hooghly River, and woolen and leather factories were established at Kanpur. So now let's move on to heavy industries. So let's see some heavy industries during the mid 19th century. So the heavy industries included the iron and steel industries, and also the steel was first manufactured by modern methods at Kulti in 1874. So the first steel was manufactured by some modern methods at Kulti in 1874. And also the iron and steel industries began rooted in the Indian soil in the beginning of 20th century. So at the beginning of 20th century, iron and steel industries were started. However, the credit goes to Jamshed Tata. However, the credit for the development of large-scale manufacture of steel in India goes to Jamshedji Tata. And also the Tata Iron and Steel Company, that is TISCO. The Tata Iron and Steel Company. So the expansion of TISCO is Tata Iron and Steel Company, was set up in 1907 at Jamshedpur. It started producing pig iron. So pig iron means one kind of iron ore. So this type of producing pig iron was started at Jamshedpur in the year 1911 and steel ingots in 1912. So an ore of steel. So TISCO is Tata Iron and Steel Company, was started in 1907 at Jamshedpur. So now let's see the growth of modern industries. So how the growth was produced by the modern industries during the mid-19th centuries. So the length of railways increased from 2,573 km in 1861 to 55,773 km in 1914. So the length of the railways were increased from 2,573 km, which was constructed in 1861. It was increased to 55,773 km in 1914. So this was the major reason behind the growth of modern industries. And also the opening of Suez Canal. Opening of the Suez Canal also shortened the distance between the Europe and India by about 4830 km. So the opening of Suez Canal, it minimized the distance between the Europe and India for about 4830 km. And also, as a result of Swadeshi movement, the cotton mills increased from 194 to 273 and jute mills from 36 to 64. So as the result of the Swadeshi movement, the number of mills increased. And the British had consolidated the power in India and thereby attracted large number of foreign entrepreneurs and capital, particularly from England. Foreign capitalists were attracted to Indian industry as it held the prospect of high profit. So the British and their policy, it attracted many foreign investors. It attracted many foreign nations because Indian goods had high profit. Now let's move on to CII. That means Confederation of Indian Industry. CII means Confederation of Indian Industry. So the Confederation of Indian Industry is a business association in India. CII is a non-government, not-for-profit, industry-led and industry-managed organization. So CII is a non-government organization which is not run for profit. Mainly it focuses on the development and growth of industry and it is a non-government association. And it was founded in 1985. That is CII, Confederation of Indian Industry. This association was founded in 1985. It has over 9,000 members from the private as well as public sectors, including small and medium enterprises and multinational corporation. So it was founded in 1985 and it has over 9,000 members, both from small and medium enterprise and also from MNC, that is multinational corporations. And next we are going to see about the industrial growth in India. So, to realize the dream of development of industries, the Indian government, it has adopted certain industrial policies and 5-year plans. So the government, they will put some 5-year plans, a target for 5 years. And also, the Industrial Policy Resolution of 1948. So this resolution delineated the role of the state in the industrial development both as an entrepreneur and as an authority. As per the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956, industries were classified into three categories. So a policy was made in 1948 where the role of the state means the role of the government was mentioned in that, and also it was revised in the year 1956 where the industry were classified into three categories. So first category is Schedule A. That means only the government can handle these industries. Only these industries will be run by the government. Some of these are atomic energy, electrical, iron and steel and other industries. Next one is Schedule B. These comprise road and sea transportation, machine tools, aluminium chemicals including plastics and fertilizers, ferroalloys and certain types of mining. And next one is Schedule C. Under this category, the remaining industries are left to the private sector. So under the Schedule C, the remaining industries which were not mentioned in Schedule A and B is left for private or individual sector. So now let's see the classification of industries. On the basis of raw materials used, industries can be classified into agro-based. Agro-based means agriculture-based. Mineral-based means based on the mineral. According to their role, it can be classified into basic and key industries. And second type is on the basis of ownership, we can classify the industry into public sector. So public means government sector or private sector, individually owned. Joint means both public and private. Cooperative means they will produce the raw material and they will run the factory. So now let's move on to the phases of industrial development in India. First one is industrial development during the phase 1950 to 1965. Second one, industrial development during 1965 to 1980. Then industrial development during 1980s till 1991. And finally, industrial development post 1991 reforms, that is after 1991. So first phase, industrial development during the year 1950 to 1965. So during this period, that is during this phase, a majority of consumer goods were produced in India and the industrial sector was underdeveloped with weak infrastructure. So during this period, only consumer goods were produced and it was underdeveloped. And also, the first 3 5-year plans were very important because their aim was to build a strong industrial base in independent India. As a result, this phase witnessed a strong acceleration in the growth rate of production. So, during this period only, that is from 1950 to 1965 only, the first 3 5-year plan was implemented and the main aim is to increase the rate of production in the country. And next one is industrial development during 1965 to 1980. As the first 3 5-year plans mostly focus on the development of the capital goods, the consumer goods sector was neglected. So as the first 3 5-year plans was mainly focused on the capital goods, so the consumer goods was not given importance. So the consumer goods sector is the backbone of the rural economy. As the result, there was a fall in the growth rate of industrial production. So this period is marked as a period of structural retrogression. So since the first 5-year plan, that is the first 3 5-year plans were focused on the capital goods, the consumer goods was not given any importance, which was the backbone of the rural economy. Rural means village economy. Therefore, this period faced a retrogression, means it was a worse period for the development of industries. And next period is industrial development during the 1980s till 1991. The period of the 1980s can be considered as the period of industrial recovery. So it recovered from all the failures. This period witnessed quite a healthy industrial growth. That is, the period between 1980 to 91, it experienced a quite industrial growth. So now let's see the industrial development post 1991, that is after 1991. So the year 1991 ushered a new era of the economic liberalization. India took major decision to improve the performance of the industrial sector. So this year 1991 is considered as a reformal year in the industrial sector. And also the 10th and 11th 5-year plans witness a high growth rate of industrial production, the abolition of industrial licensing, dismantling of price controls, dilution of reservation of small scale industries, and virtual abolition of monopoly law enabled Indian industry to flourish. So this period, that is 1991, is considered as a reformal period. Why? Because the 10th and 11th 5-year plans were introduced and it brought lot of reforms to the industrial sector. That is, it abolished the license, it has some price control over the products, it abolished the reservation of small scale industries. So like that, many reforms were imposed in the year 1991. So now let's see about modernization. So India has now have a large variety of industries producing goods of varied nature, which shows a high degree of modernization. And also some modern industries have really grown and they were competing effectively with the outside world. So this has reduced our dependence mainly on the foreign experts and technologists. So on the contrary, India is exporting many trained professionals, many trained personnel to relatively less developed countries. And also, the term information technology includes computer and communication technology along with software. And the three-sector model which we have seen earlier, the primary sector, the secondary, the tertiary sector. So along with the three-sector, the fourth sector emerged during the modern period, that is the information related industries. So modernization means the current development of industries. So nowadays with the advancement of technologies, there is many development in the machines and the production is increased, which in turn increases the economic status of the country. So now let's see the self-reliance. So what is the meaning of self-reliance? So another positive aspect of industrial growth is attainment of the goal of self-reliance. So we have achieved self-reliance in machineries, plant and other equipment. Today the bulk of the equipment it required for the industrial and infrastructural development is produced within our country. And also the Indian road network has become the largest in the world. So the government has taken enough efforts. So because of the expansion of the highways, the state highways, the national highways and many major roads, which in turn has directly contributed to the industrial growth. So because of the government efforts. So all these transportation routes, it directly contributed to the industrial growth. And also, as India needs power to drive its growth engine, it has triggered a noteworthy improvement of availability of energy. So, India has emerged as a third largest producer of electricity in Asia. So, in Asia, India is the third largest producer of electricity. So children, we have come to an end of today's session. So with this video, History 6th unit, that is Development of Indian Industries, is completed. So in this lesson, we have seen about the growth of industries right from the earlier days to modern industries. So today's topic are covered in your textbook. So refer your textbook pages from page number 61 to 64. So now it's time for questions. So let's see some evaluation questions, and in case of any doubts, you can go through the whole session video once again or else refer your textbook. So let's see some questions. So first one, Industrial Revolution took place in which year? The Assam Tea Company was founded in which year? Third question, write a short note on CII, that is Confederation of Indian Industry. And fourth one, write about the classification of industries. And finally, TISCO is located at which place? So children, try to answer all these questions in the notebook which you are maintaining for social science. So with this video, History 6th unit, that is Development of Indian Industries, is completed. Thank you.